Hey guys, I got a video suggestion asking what has changed me, and I was thinking, I read it and I was thinking that it was something that was gonna take me a while to think of, and I started writing things down for like in order things that happened that like really changed me as a person, and it occurred to me for one thing that uh oh man, I'm trying to remember who said it and I can't because I'm bad with that kind of thing. But there's a quote that says that man is like a river, constantly changing, ever changing with everything that lies everywhere. Just going around things, taking things as they come. And so there's that, so that everything, every day, everywhere changes me. But also, I think that I can attribute most of my change to three specific things. Um, those things being my father, Claudia, and depression. Or mental illness, I guess I should say. But, I mean, other things have changed me, of course, because, like, that's how things work. Like, I've had relationships that have really changed a lot about me as a person, where I've learned or grown or, changed it all, but I think the three most significant things, the three things that are easiest to put in a video and talk about, are Claudia, my father, and depression. So I'm going to talk about them in that order. I met Claudia my sophomore year of high school, right before I transferred high schools. She was an incoming freshman, and I didn't actually say anything to her. I didn't get up the nerve to say anything to her until like 2 days before I left. And what I actually said to her was a message from my mother's friend from church. My mother's friend told my mother to tell me, she was like, hey, there's this girl Claudia at Alex's school now, get her family to come to the church. And I don't know how or why, and nobody ever explained that to either of us. But 2 days before I transferred high schools, I said, like, hey, are you Claudia? And had this conversation with her, and she ended up coming to the church, and we kind of met there, and now she goes a hell of a lot more often than I do, and yeah, her whole family goes to church. We dated for 3 years-ish, more or less. And, yeah, I mean, it's it's hard to describe the dynamics of a relationship as opposed to what happened in it generally. I can't, like, pinpoint exact things that, like, and this is a major point, something that she said that changed me. So I'm just, like, going over the shell of the relationship. Yeah, it's hard to analyze something like that without actually, like, sitting down and looking at an in-depth thing, which is not something I can do while I'm getting my words out like this right now. Yeah, I mean, relationships change people, I guess, but that was, you know, my most serious and most long-term relationship, and, like, just had an enormous impact on me. Like, a lot of what I've grown up to be is based on the effect that she had on me and the effect that we had on each other over the course of the last several years. And I mean, it continues. Still a great friend. Um, as for my father, my mother, my father and I never had an awesome relationship, but like constant competition. He had like weird rules that he was very strict about. So I had a little bit of a weird upbringing, you could say, and you know, my mother finally ended up deciding that she was unhappy. Came to her in a dream. I know it sounds crazy. Um, but so she took me and moved out, and we moved into an apartment for a year. Whereupon he lived in the house, and he didn't have a job, and he basically just drank all day and like hung out with the dog. So he lost like heat and electricity, and I think he had electricity back by the end of it. I don't know how, but he heated the house with like wood that he chopped, like trees that he cut down, just shit like that. He would like smoke cigars and just hang out in the house. Secluded kind of guy. And then when the year was up on our lease and we had to move back into the house, or he would lose it, then he basically said, fuck it. He packed his truck and he moved to Florida. And his last words that involved me, as far as I know, were in an email to my mother that was left open, that said that he blamed me for the divorce and that he never wanted to see me again. Wanted nothing to do with me. And apparently, and this is speculation, he denies having a son now. Like he'll acknowledge that he has 2 daughters, but not that he has a son. And all of that, the whole experience between having him there and then my mother and I moving out, to probably the day that I read that email and realized I wasn't going to see him again. Everything in that, year span has just, I want to say, taken a toll on me, even though it feels like it can't possibly be over. So maybe the effects haven't totally finished hitting me. But, I think that experience kind of, I don't know, it's those painful things that give you a dose of reality, and reality is what makes you, I don't know, strive to understand. So I guess it's because of things like that I am who I am, And depression actually hit me the hardest. It began to hit me like it has every other winter since middle school. But this time I was like, everyone's been telling me to see a therapist, because everyone, my dad had just left and everyone was like, Alex, you should probably see a therapist. And I'm like, nah, fuck it, I don't need a therapist, but I don't know, I guess I need a therapist. So, I decide, therapy is a good idea if I'm this sad all the time. I go into therapy, and the therapist is like, alright, I'm gonna be your friend, and here's a bunch of, medications that you should probably be taking, but I can't prescribe them. So she gives me a phone number, and I get a bunch of fucking prescriptions written, and now I'm on antidepressants for the first winter, and I don't know what experience you guys have with antidepressants, but SSRIs like that literally make a synthetic brain chemical, like they make serotonin, but it's not the serotonin that your brain is producing itself. It's not the natural chemical. It's a manufactured kind of thing. It's, what the fuck is the word for it? Synthetic. Yeah, there you go. I don't know. It really can't be trusted. The way that antidepressants work is that it suppresses a problem as opposed to challenging it and learning to solve it, which you can do on your own. But the thing with the lacking serotonin is that you can't. You just can't do something like that. And, antidepressants make depression worse in most cases, but tell your brain that it's not. So it's, hard to read. But it's there. Or at least I think, I guess that's just how I see it. So everything got worse, and, I ended up wanting to kill myself, and I was planning to. I was planning to kill myself once, and, I got to the point of, giving shit away, and, I was going home to kill myself. And, I think my biggest mistake was I told one person. Because I was giving her my bowl, and I was, it was a cool bowl that I just got, and I was like, hey, I don't need this, take it. And, I guess she recognized the sign, immediately, because she told me later that day that people who were going to kill themselves often give away prized possessions. And, she figured that out and stayed with me for a long time. Spent the day with me, just made sure I wasn't alone. And, it was kind of nice. I had an alright time, I guess. I didn't end up killing myself. But I did end up telling my therapist that I wanted to. And then she, told my mother. And that was just a mess. And, that right there, that made me feel betrayed. So now I can't see therapists anymore because I don't trust them. And yeah, just the whole experience with depression was terrifying and painful, and just, I wouldn't even say that I've necessarily beaten it. It probably just hasn't even hit me as hard as it can be today. But, yeah, I don't know. There you go.